afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Kersnar Show. Thank you, please. Okay, that's fine, that's fine. Oh, come on, cut it out. That people get very enthusiastic. Yes, I know, you too, kids. Please, all right. Welcome to the Scott Kersnar Show. We're having a good time already, and hope that you are in the mood to hear me talk, because this is going to be a talk show. I'll do some music occasionally. I will burst into song if I'm stimulated to do so, but it's not going to be a music show, a variety show. It's going to be basically me talking, and maybe with some guests. Plan is for me now is to keep doing this for a while at around this time of day on Saturdays, and we'll see where it goes from there. The first time I was ever on the radio was on the Major Bose show about 1949 when I was in the San Francisco Boys Chorus, and we were guests on that show, and I sang on the radio and on TV too. But that went nowhere in particular. I've been in media for a long time, mainly print media, and have been writing about the effect of the internet on financial services, mainly the mortgage industry, and have had before that had a community publication, a weekly newspaper, and written plays and so on. So communicating. Getting what I think or my words out to other people has always been a theme in my life. And radio is funny. Radio can be really a totally self-involved experience. You don't see the audience. You kind of hope that somebody's out there, but you don't know that for a fact. And I have radio before, and I know that some people were listening because they told me so, because this was community. And even though the signal for these low power stations is very brief, very limited, there's also streaming on the internet. So you might get some feedback from somebody in a different continent entirely. And with Spreaker here, that's all it is. It's internet radio. And it's more likely that at the end of this show that I get word from somebody in a different state, maybe a different country, than, let's say, my next door neighbor. But also, I'm interested in how you support internet radio show. How do you get yourself an audience? How do you build it? I know on internet radio, Spreaker in particular, specifically here, I'll get feedback. I'll get. They will be monitoring how many people listen, and they'll tell me. And then it also links up with Facebook, and so in recent months I've been playing around with Facebook. Before that, I thought Facebook was pretty much for kids. If I wanted to email somebody, I would do that. I've been doing that for a long time. But Facebook was an arena that I thought was for other people. Then I started fooling around with it, and started seeing who was paying attention among my friends and the interaction, and so that was something that told me that you could build yourself an audience for a radio program through Facebook. So I'm going to be playing around with that, And but the self-involved part of the experience is that, for one thing, if you have a hard time, and this isn't true in my case, but if you have a hard time writing things down, and you need to, as Marilyn Monroe said, you need to talk in order to find out what you're thinking about, then you can do that on the radio, and you don't. It really doesn't seem to matter whether anybody is listening, because essentially you are using the medium in order to get more acquainted with yourself, if that sounds not too abstruse. Yeah. And you also get to talk. If you have a radio show, you have to talk, whether you want to or not. I have to keep up this banner here for as long as, it's going to be a half hour. And I'm playing with that notion of having a show for half an hour, not saying and too many times, because that's one of the cardinal sins in radio, and finding out whether I can do that without getting too hoarse. And I would, welcome any kind of encouragement that I can have that I'm actually doing this. So, yeah, that would be nice to know. Thank you. Yes. Thank you. Yes. I really do appreciate that you. Oh, come on, man. Look, this is just put around on Spreaker. It's not like the presidential address or sermon. I just. My face, if you could see my face now, it's a deep red because I am really overwhelmed by this response. And yeah, okay, thank you. Okay, yes, calm down. Yes, okay. Okay, kids, you too. There's the kids in the back want to get their 2 bits in as well. And so, in order to have a show for a half hour. Now, I've been talking now for about 8 minutes. And so one of the reasons that you have music generally, and I'm not going to be doing any music today, but is so you can get a break, so you don't have to keep talking so much. This is an experience very familiar to anyone that's been a teacher. Let's say you didn't do a very good job of preparing for a lesson and you are there and you have to start talking. Well, that tells you, hey, buddy, excuse me, if you're going to talk, make sure you know what you're talking about. Now, I could talk about, for instance, about the difference between prepositions and subordinating conjunctions, something like that. And once I got wound up, then I might go on very easily for the next 20 minutes. By the way, that's about how much long I have to talk here. About 20 minutes. But nobody would listen. I wouldn't even listen myself. So, yeah. So what would I like to talk about? Well, as I said, I was a playwright. So at some point, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get some friends here to be on my program and read one of my 10-minute plays, and then, or other people's 10-minute plays, and then talk about those. I love to talk about my dog. We have a little pug dog named Mojo, and we're very attached to our dog, and he's sort of, to me, a spiritual advisor in that he takes things as they come, and he shrugs off disappointments pretty well. In fact, very well. And he just shakes it off, literally shakes his body and gets into the present moment. That's very spiritual. That's very Zen of him. And I admire that. And I try to be guided by him because he gets along pretty darn well in this world by not getting too exercised about anything. Yeah, we're going to have there will be conversations here, but one of the advantages of having a solo show is you don't have to listen to other people. If you don't want to, you just keep on talking, and no one is there to interrupt you. And I don't particularly like that. That is just talking alone. But today, for the next, well, now it's 19 minutes. For the next 19 minutes, that's exactly what I'm going to do. My dog, yeah. My environment. We live in California, in the Russian River area of Sonoma County, 20 minutes from the ocean. And we live in a valley with a lot of trees, lots of redwoods and so on. And we happen to have a property with a lot of isolation. You could be, up in the mountains someplace, and we're not in the mountains. We're 2 miles away from the town of Guerneville, and so we love our environment here. I feel very fortunate, and so we are happy, even though we try to. But let me be cheerful. Sometimes happiness is too much of a burden for people to saddle themselves with. But we can at least be cheerful, can't we? So I hope that you're hearing that in my voice that I'm being pretty cheerful. And is that my philosophy? Well, golly, I don't know. When I consult my dog, my spiritual advisor, I have to consult him by watching what he does and listening to him when he barks. And I don't think he has a philosophy, and I'm not sure that I need one myself. I mean, I do have attitudes, I have opinions, I have hopes, dreams, but do I have philosophy? Well, see, that's another thing I can discover here. But with this program, I can play it back and sample it and see if what I have to say actually does amount to some kind of philosophy. I have opinions, as I say, financial services. I write about that, mortgage industry and technology, and how technology is affecting the mortgage industry, the economy. We talk about the economy, but I have more questions than answers frequently about all that. And well, I'm a reporter, so I should have more questions than answers. I should and do. I ask other people for their opinions. Mine are just to provoke some good quotes out of them, so I can have interesting stories to write. But we frequently are writing about what's good for the economy. Is it good for the economy, for the government to stimulate things? Is it good for the economy for the government to have good regulations to keep the people honest? On the other hand, is it good for the economy just for the government to step out of the way and just let the market take care of itself? Well, my question is different than that. I think it's more important to find out what is the economy good for. I mean, who's it good for? We've seen fast food workers say it's not good for them to give them their pay in some debit card while they have to pay money to in order to access their lowly wages, and they don't like that either. So they're saying that the economy as it exists right now isn't very good for them, and they would like to have one that have a living wage for the work they do. So, who's the economy good for, and what is the economy actually accomplish? We've seen that the appetite for short-term profits was something we really paid for around 2000.